record on this computer. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. All right, so we're all organized. Fantastic, fantastic. Hello, everybody. Welcome and good morning. Welcome and good morning. Yeah. Welcome and good morning. I love it. Where you been? Where you been?
Yes.
Where you
Okay.
been?
Yes. Hello and
What
welcome
are
everyone. Yes.
yes. I just wanted to say, what have our matters of consequence been?
Okay. The same thing we do every day. We are going to take over this world. Pinky and the brain here. This is what we do every day.
Yeah.
By the world, we mean our own world.
Correct.
And we are
Correct.
deliberately living, at least we try to, I can say about myself. At least I try to be deliberate in my living. So I do take over my world every single day. This is what I do. Complete full charge and control of my world, inside and also outside. So this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is what Nobelia-Living. Okay, hopefully someday I will be there in this position where I can say that, okay, this is what I'm doing with full confidence, without any hesitation, without having any, oh no, Pina, okay, it's still a lot needed. It's a dream, and it's a huge big dream. Anyway, everyone here, welcome, and you all are invited to be part of this journey, as you always are going to
Yes.
explore this story in as much detail as we can. This story is becoming like a roundtable conference for all of us. We are
Yeah.
having our things, we are discussing, and this is so profound and so valuable. This is exactly what was the intent for doing all these things. So
Yes.
Norma, Ramsey,
Yes.
Jill,
Yes.
Cheryl, Lisa, and of course, whoever wants to join us,
Yes. And
absolutely welcome.
Tommy said he couldn't make it yesterday, so that one would assume then that he is keen to come when he can come. Sher said that she's got no internet, or it's
Oh,
going in and out there, so
oh,
uh,
oh, oh,
so
oh,
we'll
okay.
hopefully see Sher or not. We'll see. Either
Yes,
way, we just take it as it comes and we enjoy
yes,
as it is. And if nothing
yes.
else, it's just Bina and me, and this is wonderful too.
And
It's
we
all
will try to take over the world again.
exactly. The world of Nobelia, right? That's the world we wish to be in, but we want to bring
Because
it
that was
here
the
into our
mystery.
lives.
That was the mystery for so many people, that what you
Yeah.
guys actually discuss. And this is exactly what we do. Every
Yeah.
single day, every single moment, this is what we do. Of course,
Immersing
a
into
tough,
moreness. That's what that means.
yes,
Immersing into
yes,
moreness.
yes, a lot of other things also when other people join us, and of
Yeah.
course it becomes more. But
Yeah.
this is exactly 100%. This is what we do, and this is what
Yes.
we love to do also.
It's a great joy. It's a
It's a
great,
great
great,
job.
great
It's a
joy.
great job.
Whenever you explore, it's not just about seeing new things. No, no. It's about, in this context, right, of exploring moreness, because it's in the context of personal development, self-improvement, and not just gaining things that you could do, but our exploration is the exploration of awareness, discernment, and understanding, which is all for the purpose of application. So our exploring always is at the focus of, or toward the focus of, or with the focus of application, doing,
Yes.
adding to ourselves, not just as a potential, as a theoretical to say, oh, here's something I could do. No, We are saying how to do it. Am I doing it? And we practice the very doing of the things. Like we're practicing discernment, we're practicing understanding, we're practicing patience, we're practicing deliberation, we're practicing anticipation, practicing exploration, extrapolation, etc., etc., etc. Right? So when we look at it in this context where we are constantly practicing, and what we add are more abilities to do. Yeah,
Yes.
this is a radically different doing. It's radically different, and it changes everything, because when you add to your competency of being, yeah, and when you
Yes.
become internally competent, do you not start to be taking over your own world and be in charge of your own world?
Yes.
Because the world that
Yes.
I have inside me, I never was fully in charge of it back in the day. Yeah, I still maybe feel not 100%, but from a pinky and the brain point of view, take over the world, take over our internal world. This is the actualization of that comes via competency. Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very, very big deal. So even
And
though,
my
Bina's saying something in a fun way, that's how it is with us. Everything has a serious side to it. There's always more, in other words, there's always more.
it
There's
is
always more.
always more. And this is what exactly going to connect to yesterday's discussion, the way it started, because Ramsey was busy doing marketing for his products,
Mm,
wonderful products, I assume, sweet
yes.
chili pizza sauce and some dips and other yummy stuff.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it is all his own products. Like they have their own things and they are making out of
All,
it. So this
yeah.
is going to be, I assume, the way Ramsey is. These things are going to be impeccable dips and impeccable
Yeah,
sauces,
exactly. It's
and
gonna take
also
over
that
the chili pizza sauce world. Yeah.
yes, and a sweet chili pizza sauce, which
Yeah.
was like really in a bottle coexisting contradictions. And that is
Yeah.
how beautiful it is, because if we start paying attention, as we were discussing yesterday, everything can be, of course, uh, philosophized. I don't know how to say that.
Philosophized.
Philosophize,
Yes,
exactly. Yes, thank you for helping me. So we can actually philosophize every concept, and it is
absolutely.
the whole philosophy, the idea. Because I had a discussion with my cousin, one of my cousins. Actually, he is Mama's cousin, so
Wow.
he's my uncle, but he's not very old, so
Yeah,
that's why I
yeah,
just
yeah,
treat him as my cousin.
yeah.
And he was saying that, okay, about he was so much into philosophy, and I read somewhere, and I was like, okay, philosophy is not about saying or talking about.
Exactly,
It's all about
exactly,
implementation. And that is
exactly.
good, because we have the very specific word in Urdu, which is baratna. So it's like, okay, philosophy is not about saying anything, it's about implementation. And when it's
Yes,
about implementation, why it will not be in every aspect of our life, from
exactly,
mundane to the
exactly,
most abstract one.
exactly, exactly. A philosophy which is not implemented is pointless. It's just totally useless. And philosophy, unfortunately, has gotten this popular conception of somebody just writing out dry theory and stuff like this. No, no. It's the point and purpose of philosophy is application, right? This is it. It's the love of wisdom, right? This is literally what philosophy means, right? Sophia means wisdom. So,
Yes.
so love of Sophia is not some ancient guy's crush. No. Right?
Yes.
It's not Socrates' crush, like Mrs. Socrates was called Sophia. Well, he was never married, so maybe, he never, but anyway, uh, but so love of wisdom. Now, if you love wisdom, isn't wisdom the point of application? Because otherwise, what does it matter? It's just words, right? So it's got to be real. Yeah.
Yes. So for me, philosophers, or anyone, of course, who ever practice philosophy, even if they don't want to call themselves philosophers, is still
Right.
anyone who is thorough in his doings and in his being is a philosopher.
Mm.
What philosophers actually do? They just try to
Right.
go and find the real and the core essence and the core
Mm.
reason for things. That's the only reason of philosophy.
Mm.
They just
Mm.
don't take things and just forget about and take it for granted. No, they just go there to find the reason and find the core and the essence or the
Yes.
crux of it.
Yes. Yes. To interrupt our most important conversation for something more important, there's a hello we have to take care of in
Okay,
chat.
okay, yes, okay. So because you are doing this, let me go there because I was not there. Sorry, of course, I assume that Norma will be there. So
Hello, Norma. Hello, Norma.
yes, so I'm just going there
Mm.
and I have to mute myself, otherwise it will be a double sound. So for a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Unfortunately, I tend to get hungry just around about live time. So sorry, I'm just the way it is. My appetite is very finely honed. I eat when I get hungry.
Yes, okay. So hi Norma, and of course she says hi Syl and Bina. So, Syl and Bina is saying back hello back to
Yes.
you, Norma.
Yes. Yes.
And so this is okay. Again, coming back to the same point because this is so fun for me. I had this idea. I don't know about other people, but I had this idea that philosophers are the lost ones. They just
Mm.
keep thinking about things. So I had no idea what philosophy is. But I don't find anything more practical than philosophy. Philosophy question
Exactly.
everything, everything. And of
Well,
course, when it comes to everything, it is about your business. It is about your kitchen, taking care of your kitchen. It is
exactly.
about taking care of yourself. It is about taking care of your
Exactly.
relationship. It is about taking care of your life and of course
Exactly.
life of the universe.
Yeah.
Everything. It has no limitation, and of course it has no restriction. And actually it pushes you to not get trapped by or distracted by any limitation or restriction. Go beyond
Yeah.
every limitation and every restriction and think about it. And of course, be open. When we start thinking about things, then we actually own it. And
Yeah.
when we actually start communicating with them. So for me, to communicating with the universe, the first step is to start thinking about the universe.
Yeah.
If someone or something is not in my mind, how we can communicate with? Yeah.
Exactly.
No,
We do
we
more
cannot.
philosophizing than thinking. Yes, Norma, and we are very proud of that.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because
Yes, exactly.
the philosophy is like Venus says, philosophy is about practicality. Now, this is not in the common understanding of philosophy and philosophizing. But when you get down to it, that's what it is. If you listen to country and Western songs, you're going to hear this person's philosophy of life very clearly there, how they go. But it's about how they do, how they behave. Yeah. That's what your philosophy is. What it is, what dictates and determines your behavior. Huh?
Exactly.
Well, otherwise, if you say, well, that's my philosophy and you don't ever do it, then you're just going to be a hypocrite. Okay, that happens, but
Yeah.
we can't be hypocrites.
And I think that so far my understanding is philosophy is the only understanding of life, which is nothing if without implementation. You
Exactly.
cannot follow
Exactly.
anyone's philosophy and just assume that, oh, this is the one. No,
Right.
you have to implement it and
Yeah.
think it through to the end, and then of course come out of it. And then of
Right.
course create it your own. This is the whole
Right.
crux of philosophy. So yes, coming back to today's thing, we are
Yeah.
going to explore this the story and
Yes.
yeah,
And
we'll
we are
try
going
our
to
best to be
do philosophy. We'll
yes,
make up a new phraseology.
yes.
Oh, I'm busy. What are you doing? I'm doing philosophy. Oh. Oh, I never thought. Oh, I got Amazon. I got Amazon. Ah, brilliant, brilliant. Thank you, Amazon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Jonathan. Hey, how are you, man? How are you? I'm very good. I'm very good. I'll see you another time. I got something for you. All right. Bye-bye. I like my drivers. They're very happy. They look after me. They're very nice. So sorry for some interruption, but important stuff. All right. Zabina,
Yes.
this is where we were yesterday, right?
Yes.
Where
Comelius. Yes. Sorry.
they're wrapping up. So also to summarize a little bit, they're wrapping up the discussion on manipulation, right? And Ursula says, well, you know, when we're aware, whatever we do is a deliberate choice. Yeah.
Yes.
When we're aware, whatever we do is a deliberate choice. And that includes
Yes.
not doing, right? When you're aware of
Yes.
the consequences of you not doing anything, well, then that's part of your conscience. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, assuming you can do something about it, but still, either way, right? So there's when you live in that, get to that point of awareness, when everything is deliberate choice, of course, then now everything is an ethical issue too. Yes, and
Yes.
if you are ethical, no matter what you do, you are making a difference. Yeah, and if you're making a
Yes.
difference, isn't that manipulation?
Yes.
You can say manipulation is forcing a difference, but half the time when we do things, that's what happens, whether we want it or not. Yeah,
Yes.
especially if it's the most efficient, most effective course of action. If our actions result in things coming that way, not forcing it in a violence way, but kind of making sure it happens. Well, that just means that we were very effective in our choice making. Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we have to make peace with this, but that's why we understand, though, that if we didn't act and didn't do, then that also is going to result in consequence. So we're going to be manipulating no matter what, at least in one sense of the word. Now, of course, we aren't manipulating because the intent and the agenda isn't there, right? But
Yes.
just to sort of put this a little bit to rest, because this is coming to the end of this whole discernment on manipulation, and it's very powerful. Ursula summarizes it really nicely there. All right, so if you would please read the next slide here
Yes.
and comment.
Yes. This grabs me as a something. Okay, as a something. Okay, not as something.
No,
Okay.
as a
Yeah.
something. Yes,
Yes.
very
Yes.
discerning to pick
Yes.
up the difference there. Very,
Yes.
very significant difference. That a makes all the difference.
Yes. So
This,
let's read it
but
again.
it's two thises, right?
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
This grabs me as a something. Okay. I saw it so profoundly with the Romans. There is a way things went to go. You
Want.
could say, said Jupiter, who now moved into that form with the association and immersion into the implication chain. Knowing this with full and deliberate awareness makes a difference. Indeed. Why Jupiter? Nintu exclaimed delightedly, diplomatically shifting. Okay, this is something
Ah,
I can read. What is
shifting the emphasis. This is the
okay?
extra Y there.
Shifting
So.
the emphasis to this shift of appearance. I do believe you are beginning to see some value in our focus. Jupiter merely granted.
No, no.
Revealing, yes,
Revealing. Yeah, revealing. Yeah, not
yes,
revealing, revealing.
revealing nothing and reverted to Zeus by way of emphasis. It's a thought tossed in as a minor bestowed boom, a
Boon.
crack
Yeah.
in the thought.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So lots of implications here. Lots of implications here. Now, put this into context for those who have not necessarily, because we didn't always share the comments from the gods, right? Because they were at the end of the prologue, but then I was a bit behind in adding them to the story. So just put some context into this here for those who are maybe not from understanding where this is coming from. Please, thank you. Sorry, I mean to be giving orders, sounding bossy.
So I'm missing something. You were breaking Syl, so say it again, please.
Put this comment into context. I mean, first, just for those who don't know about the gods, just explain how they fit into the story, and then. Yeah.
This is difficult for me. This is
All right,
difficult for me.
I know, but
Yes.
it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge. It's a good challenge.
Yes, it's a really a good one because it's a tough one also.
Mm.
Because I'm still really what is the word for that? Mm, excited about this whole idea of
Oh
gods
yes,
coming into
yes,
this story and
yeah,
rethinking all their own doings and and
yes,
and of course because
yes,
they had that the way they were doing things were
yeah,
were quite different, but the awareness in the now is entirely different. And of
yes,
course,
yes,
when they see things in the recent context, they see a lot of flaws. They see a
yes,
lot of shortcomings. And of
yes.
course, the realization when they do realize that, oh my God, okay, they are not going to say that, oh me God.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
would say, oh me God, here. And they because oh my God, I was saying that because again it's a habit and it is just an expression. But that was the realization, that intense realization that what we have been doing now, the human, and of course the new nobles, and of course the other things, their awareness is showing us what was not appropriate in the past. And
exactly.
the whole idea or ideologies and of course is some structures in the format of religion, they were not as implemented as maybe their intent was because of lack of clarity. So now
Right,
this awareness making them reevaluate everything, which is of course going to be as a consequence going to change our whole understanding of the history,
right, right,
religion,
right,
culture, and mythology and everything.
exactly.
Because first they become aware that it was not appropriate, the superiority paradigm awareness also. But now when they will start explaining, maybe humans and of course other people will see that okay, the intent, they were also not paying intent, and they were just
Exactly.
assuming things on their behalf. So who knows that how it will come up. But it's a very interesting point in the story that now the gods are coming and with their own specific stories and their connectivity and their understanding and of course teachings or
Yeah,
or some
yeah.
some orders.
And
Not
their
only they are going to
emergence.
evolve, but they are also going to discuss this. This is the real
Right.
interesting point for me, that they are like really into this the courtroom and everybody will question
Yeah,
and give answers. That okay,
yeah,
yes, we did something, but it's not all on us. You human were also assuming things on our behalf. If
yeah,
we were not really impeccable, or maybe we were not nobles at the time, but you were the one who choose all these things. So it is going to be a very interesting point, the story where human and gods will come exactly in this situation and share and discuss all these things.
Oh,
That will be really interesting for me. When
yeah,
gods has to really justify themselves
exactly.
why and what they were doing.
Exactly. Look, Norma, I moved the text box there so that you can see the whole background. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
No, I love it. I'm not sure if you mean mine or this one in the slide. I'm not sure. Either way. Now, the gods in the story have a very unique position, a very difficult one, because their mandate from the universe, and which they somewhat created themselves, is to essentially supervise humanity's evolution. Yeah.
Mm,
Problem is, you putting the lunatic in charge of the loony bin. Yeah.
mm,
Back in the day.
yeah,
Now, these particular gods have come to realize that they were essentially radically messed up. All right. So they've learned they still have this mandate, but now they're in a position where they need to look out for humanity as a whole. But they're looking at the new nobility, because the new nobility they make an effort. Exactly, Norma. Who is supervising the supervisor? And in a roundabout way, the new nobility are doing so, not directly, but by example. They have no interest in saying everybody else got to live like us. This is how you must evolve. No, that's completely against everything they stand for. You've got to follow your own path. But because they are pushing the boundaries of evolution, right, in every possible way, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, physically, everything, right, in behaviorally, everything. Because they're pushing these boundaries, the gods can actually learn from them. Not that the gods are basically stupid. No, they're not. They're very smart. They're very sophisticated. Obviously, right, because they've been around for a long time. They weren't always that. In the beginning, there was a bunch of nincompoops. There were a bunch of egomaniacs. They were complete BMNs, right, causing massive trouble. And now they're looking to remedy all the trouble they've caused. And this whole project of seeding the stars and this whole galaxy is a new beginning. Yes. And this is a big chance. So they're making sure this thing all works out right, but they also have to evolve themselves. So they give us this fantastic deep perspective, not only on the contrast between the superiority paradigm and Nobelia-Living, or the noble ideal, but also they have to overcome habits. Yes. And we see how change from a deep entrenched way of being is an issue, right? So we get this because the new nobility, they're not starting with some of these really horrible habits because they didn't grow up in a superiority paradigm culture. They have to learn about it because it's still around. And it's around in some of the alien species and, some of the human worlds, so it's regressed to that. But for the gods, they have this habit that they've got to deal with, right? This old thinking. So we see here in this slide, we see a couple of points. I'll come to it in a moment. You just read there because I'm going to make us some coffee, Bina. But go over it with the discernments, with the implications, the capital R reading, right?
okay. I will try my best to do that.
Mm.
Hmm. Okay, so this is okay, we have already read this one. Yes.
Right, but we're going to go over this one again because I want to pull out
Yes.
some points here.
Yes. Okay. This grabs me as something. So this is something like when you are not expecting the moreness, any perspective or any understanding or awareness includes. And when you are saying something about, like when you are expressing or responding towards it, the more awareness kicks in and the more realization that, oh, it is even more than what I was assuming when I start saying something. So
Ah,
this is what I feel from this whole expression. This grabs
yeah.
me and as something. So it is like the awareness is kicking in while they were responding. I saw it so profoundly with the Romans.
Yes, yes, yes. All right. So hang on a second, Bina. Norma brings up a big point there that I wish to address. All right.
Yeah.
So in this story, Norma, I am as an author, and part of our capital R reading is for me to discuss kind of author logic. Yes,
Mhm.
what goes on behind the scenes in terms of intent and what you're trying to accomplish and achieve. Okay, so first of all, we have to understand the reason for this story in the first place, and the reason for it is me taking the A plus philosophy, which underlies all of this. And instead of writing it out in a dry, boring, scholarly thesis, which is completely against the whole logic of it, I said, no, let me show it, let me apply it, because application is, of course, core to the philosophy. So let me apply it. Let me put it into practice, and because when you see something applied, you come to understand it better than when it's theoretically spelled out, right?
Mm.
So showing is always better than telling. Yeah,
Yes.
and that's sort of a rule in writing. You'll see it in any author or forums or groups for writing that will say, show don't tell, show don't tell, show. It's like their mantra. They go crazy on this, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, well, I'm showing you my philosophy. I'm not, instead of telling you my philosophy, because you can see it in action. And in this, Norma, in the because this is the intent of this story, is to show, don't tell. I am bringing in a few leveraging mechanisms to make points, to illustrate points, right? So in this story, here are the gods, right? Which are mythological gods, and they turn out to be real simply because nobody thought they might be, and it was just a fun thing. But it also goes to a deeper story. It connects to another story that I've written, a series called The Council of the Gods, which the intent of that story is to show how greater world events make sense, even if we think they're horrible and terrible, right? They make sense in a longer, deeper, bigger picture. And this is the story of where the gods actually meddle to make things happen, and there's a big reason for it. And Jesus and Mercury, it's mentioned earlier too, this was their grand plan, and they set about this whole long, centuries long plan, and we're getting now to the end point, the culmination that's resulted from their plan. All right. So now I bring in the gods, but now you ask the question, and it's a very powerful question. So hang in there, Bina. Norma, I mean, right? It's very good. She says, I have to ask, do they understand our God/creation? And when you say our, I assume you mean Christian, because Bina is a practicing Muslim, of course, and others are practicing Hindus or Buddhists or whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
so in this story, I bring in these gods, which are, nobody really practices. There are people who are call themselves, pagans who worship Thor and Norse gods. It's quite popular. I don't know if there's a thing to worship the old Greek gods. They're not cool, I guess. So Norse gods are very cool, so they get worshipped. Right? Oh, Bina, while I do this, say, will you go to the CCC chat and tell Brenda we live? She just said, you can just say, calling Brenda. She said, just call and I'll come. So calling Brenda, we're live. So she
Okay.
did say that she was keen to come. We just have to mention there. All right. Anyway, and anybody else too, whoever wants to come. So anyway, so in the story, Norma, because it's a story that is about discernment, awareness, understanding, insight, depth, right? There's no, the regular religions aren't a part of it. and this is by design, right? Because when the seeders left Earth for the new galaxy, right? How do they take religion with them? See, becomes a very difficult choice. Yeah, and if your intent is to say, well, we want to avoid the mistakes and the trouble, well, religion caused a lot of trouble. Yeah, so when they went out into the galaxy, religion got left behind. Now, does that mean it didn't come about and reestablish itself in the dispersal and the 1,000 worlds? Yes, it did. We already know that, right? With the new reformers. It doesn't specifically say they are religious, but it's by implication, right?
Yes.
So now we have this, and as we're going to go through the story, it's going to the gods in the council of the gods story. We see how the gods are the ones who start up religions, and well, because they had their own religions, right? I mean, you had Zeus worship and all this stuff. They were full on religions, but they fell by the wayside. So then they sort of lost power. And then they were completing religions. And some of them, they started themselves in order to gain back their power and in order to later manipulate humanity and so on, right? At least manipulate in the sense of when they started to think that they were going to do good, right? So this is, and one of the first things, one of the first councils was I think at the time of Buddha, where they were looking to say, oh yeah, this guy's got something new, different, and not I think, but they did, and they tried to really help Buddha and make it, and they didn't quite succeed, but sort of, more or less. But anyway, so then they tried again, and anyway, so we start to see in the context of this story, our regular religions are as a result of this meddling and this interference. Right now, does it matter whether it is that way or not? No, it's done for the purposes of discernment, to put us at a bit of a remove, to say, oh, if I think about these religions as being started by somebody specifically for the purpose of control and evolutionary manipulation, etc., it changes our perspective on religion. Yes. Now it's a very touchy subject to many, but this is a way to bring in discussions, real deep discernments on religion from a more objective perspective. Yeah. So that's one of the reasons why the gods are in here, to give us that remove so that we can talk about these sensitive topics, right? So in the context of the story, the religions are basically started by these gods. They're the ones who always were there. And all right, when we see them as Jupiter or Zeus or whatever, but those are the ones we know. What about Nantu? Who's Nantu? Where does she come from? Well, so you can look up Nantu, or Anu, who started this in this story. Anu is a very prototype god from which all the other gods followed and flowed, right? Very ancient prototype god. So that's that. So I tried to bring them in, all around, so this is very cool. But the main point that I'm trying to get at is that this is for the purposes of getting us to be a bit removed, so that we're not so inside it, and we don't touch, sensitive topics for people. Okay, in this story, you saying that your gods created all these religions. People may object to that, but they're going to see it as a story device, and they won't take it too seriously, right? So that's why, because otherwise it's a very hard topics to really get into in detail, because it is so sensitive. So that's the way I'm coming at it. Make sense, Norma? Bina, makes sense to you as well?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So, this point that Zeus is being grabbed by, or Jupiter here is, there is a way things want to go, you could say, right? It's Comelius's quote, yeah? And I should put that in italics, actually. So Jupiter's quite taken with us. And it's like, I saw that, with with the Romans, that the things they had a way they wanted to go, because that's really it was. If you follow Roman history, you have that. Oh, brilliant, Norma, brilliant, brilliant. But here's the key point of this, right? Why Jupiter? Since it's an exclamation, she's exclaiming, it needs an exclamation, right? Why Jupiter? And then to exclaim delightedly. Diplomatically shifting the emphasis to his shift of appearance. So look, she's reacting to his comment, but she's emphasizing Jupiter as the reason for her delightful or happiness or joy, right? But what she's really happy about is that Jupiter is actually seeing the value of this quote. Yeah, that he's commenting on it, because he's saying this grabs me as a something. He's not just saying, this is important, or this is interesting or whatever. No, this is a something. So he's saying it is important, which is a little unusual for him because, well, he was the big chief for so long, he's a little bit reluctant to acknowledge that he needs to learn, you see. So he's a bit of the last holdouts there. So by her saying this, she's now saying, I do believe you're beginning to see some value in our focus, but it's an afterthought. Right, she's focused on why Jupiter is supposedly, this is why she's excited, or he shifted from Zeus to Jupiter. No, it's just a bit of a diplomatic emphasis to not to make a comment, not to be so harsh and sharp, right? And not seem like a rebuke, which is not. It's an encouragement. It's a joy. But when people are sensitive in their egos, you got to be very careful, right? So Jupiter knows this. He's showing a crack, right? You see a crack in the Thor. He's beginning to thaw, and this is a crack in the thaw. Not a crack in the armor, a crack in the thaw. He's already thawed quite a bit, because we've heard from Jupiter in the Council of the Gods story. And, but yeah, he's coming more, right? So it's a thought. He's just like, all right, don't take it too seriously. Don't get carried away in it too. he's still, he's and the reason I'm sharing this is, because I see this sometimes when people come and do Way of Impeccability. They're reluctant to give up their authority of how they feel they are authorities in the world, in that field, in their sphere, right? And this is the same thing with Jupiter. He's coming to realize he's not the authority that he thought he was, and, well, it's difficult for him, yeah? But I also wanted to just bring in that this is the first time we're seeing the gods comment in our rereading. The comments are there, but they were added after we'd already gone through it. So it's just fun. Just fun. Yes. Any comments before we move on, Bina?
No, please continue. Please continue.
Wow. Oh, just a small little by the by. Keep going, please.
Yes.
You please keep going. Please read.
Oh, I thought that you were saying something.
No, I was
Okay.
eating my peach.
Okay. Biella added, the strategic part also puts into play options which raise and lower probabilities, a most delicate procedure, occasionally involving judgment, as in choosing the name agglomeration. In this particular case, something which had to be adopted on the spot. The universe had not suggested it or hinted at anything purely and intuitively, but a personal choice nonetheless. The new noble in question had been impeccable, of course, not exercising personal choice, simply going with what had become available inside, completely trusting his personal power. Wow.
Oh, Bina, Norma, I was saying this very thing when you came on. We don't do this because people are here. If nobody was here, Bina and I would have the greatest whale of a time. It's
Yes.
the intent has got nothing to do with who comes. I don't care two hoots if nobody watches. Totally irrelevant. I would still do this, right? It's not done for that purpose. The intent is to share, putting it out in the world, right? Different logic, whole different paradigm of intent. Yeah. So thank you though. Thank you though, but it's not relevant. By the way, in the Council of the Gods story, where this is a story of essentially Jesus and Mercury, they the two. They come up with a grand plan to change humanity very profoundly, because they start thinking, right? And this is this is in the 14th century, right at the time of the fall of the Roman Empire, and right when Columbus is looking to get funding to go to discover. Well, he doesn't know he's going to discover America. He's looking for India. Yeah, literally looking for India. So, uh, so they it's right at that time, 1488, 1489, 1490, right? 1488 is the fall of Constantinople, when the Roman Empire comes, when the Turks take over. Right? So they say, but it's also the time of the Renaissance, right? You got Da Vinci and all of that stuff going on, and lots of new inventions and lots of new thinking. But the problem was, they said, well, finally, humanity started to come up, and new stuff is happening. There's progress and everything, but where's it going? All of those inventions of Da Vinci, they went to the Medici. They went to the old nobility, to the feudal system, right? To control, to power, to the church, right? I mean, Michelangelo, he was employed by the church, right? I mean, he was bullied by the Pope. So, and the popes weren't very nice people back then, right? They had their own armies, and they were troublemakers, and they were power crazy and all sorts of things. So they're looking at this, and they say, if we, and at that point, Jesus and Mercury connect to this grand conception of extrapolation, something they'd never really done before, right? So they develop a grand extrapolation, and they say, where is all this going? Well, nowhere. Why? Because there's the money and the wealth, it's all concentrated in a few people. And their interest, they're not nice people, so the worst people are in charge, and their only interest is in perpetuating the status quo. They just want to keep it all the same so they can stay in power, and they can have all the serfs and the peasants working for them and suck all their money, and they live wonderfully, and they've got the church which supports them. Religion is making suffering a noble thing, and you just wonderful for enduring and all of the stuff, right? So it's a fantastic system for having voluntary slaves, right? Just a grand manipulation scheme going on. But the Renaissance isn't changing this. The fall of the Roman Empire, not changing this. Yeah. So now they had hopes for the Roman Empire, but it didn't work. It imploded. So now we have all of these systems that are entrenched, and they're not going anywhere. And so we got to do something. And with Columbus going, they say, here's a way. And they do this grand extrapolation. They say, if America goes and develops, and anyway, the whole plan, it's a long story for me to explain, but they figure out that via America, the world can raise its wealth, and democracy can come into being, and all of this stuff, right? Which has really changed the world in a very profound way, and can break out of the feudal system, which is exactly what happens. But they manipulate things so that this can happen, because Columbus would never have gotten the thing in the story, right? They help Columbus to get his funding, because Columbus is a big knucklehead, but there's a reason for that too, right? So anyway, so now we have this whole grand extrapolation, which ends up in this a wealthy world in which spirituality has a bigger place, and such ideas and concepts like seeding the dream, seeding the stars, and all that can come about, right? So there's a big point to all of this, Norma, that it comes. It's not just a simple thing, right? So there's a deep connectivity to all this. It's very cool, right? So the point I wanted to make is that Jesus is a very big part of this. Now, Jesus came about because of the gods meddling, but he's one of them, and he's there as Jesus, and he's a very good influence, right? you'll hear him in all his gentle, compassionate, loving softness, right? He's in some of the other comments in the earlier chapters. When you reread them in the slides, you'll see those comments from the gods there. All right. Please continue, Veena.
Yes. Okay, just a minute.
Well, we love that it's only you, Norma. We're a great joy to just you being here. We'll get you all to ourselves. It's fantastic. Right, Veena?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, it's marvelous.
Okay. Comelius submerged deep into thought. Biella enjoyed watching him work through it all and wished more people would do this. It made such a difference. It was so easy to just assume understanding had been reached. Even if all said so, yes, Biella confirmed. Because the issue was not what names was chosen, what name was chosen. The issue was that a name was
A
chosen.
name. Yeah.
A name was chosen
Yeah.
with consensus, non-self.
Veena, just as a
Yes,
little fun point.
yes.
Typically, when A is emphasized, it becomes, it goes from a to a.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. A name was chosen, non-self-concern, non-self-concern, non-self-concern. Okay, about what the name was, allowed for openness from within to receive a particular name which would be accepted in this case. A name with enough correct connotation to be approved, but just unusual enough to be free of pre-existing associations for
Yeah.
any at the conference to object to. This is a
Yeah.
very huge point.
Yeah.
And this actually explains a lot about the way of impeccability and wholeness and the vocabulary, the specific
Wow.
vocabulary and the usage of specific vocabulary.
Mm.
Because these words are so unusual. Yes, sometimes for some people, they, of course, at some point, for everyone almost, they become overwhelming. Like why we cannot, why we are using such fancy vocabulary. This is the term, this is the phrase I heard. But why to use such fancy vocabulary? Why can't we say things in the like really everyday casual language? And why we always use very difficult terms. That is the very reason for that. Every word which we are using in our everyday life, they are too exhausted already with the associations we have. We hardly pay
Mm.
attention to those words anymore
Exactly.
because they have a association, very strong association. And when someone or we are suppose that when we are using these words, we are not paying attention to that word, like okay, oh, whatever it is, like whatever. We don't pay attention to whatever because
Exactly.
every single time when we say whatever, we know that the association. So that's why this is the very key to use different words which were not part of our
Exactly.
individual
Fresh.
casual
Yeah.
vocabulary, so our mind can
Yeah.
create new association. So actually it is so energy saving, energy efficient, because you don't
Exactly.
need to reassociate and oh, okay, no, I didn't mean that, but okay, now it was coming. No, nothing. This particular word, the moment it has been said, or you enter, or we enter into our dictionary of power, it create a new conception in our mind and create new association in the mind.
Wow.
And that is so easy. That becomes so easy to relate to that concept in future. Whenever someone will say inappropriate, okay, yes, everybody is aware that okay, what we are talking about.
Wow.
When we say or whatever the concept, like okay, still has so many of course
Mm.
terms, the whole story and of the program and in dictionary of power by participants. All these are so filled with not so common language or vocabulary. And that
Exactly.
is the reason. That is the very reason for that.
Yeah.
And as someone whose English is second language for 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 me. So I was struggling with this understanding in the beginning. Like, okay, first, it is not my language. Second, you are using the language which is like completely out of my vocabulary. And I was assuming that because of this, I'm not able to understand. And
Uh-uh.
that was the stuck point in my mind that okay, because my language skills are not enough for this program or for this course, that's why I'm not able to understand this. But actually, it was not. It was exactly as difficult as for me or for anyone a native English speaker. It was exactly same because we both were using this in new and
It was
different
new for
contexts.
both. Exactly.
Exactly. And once I realized that, it took me a lot of time and energy to come to that point and understand that no, this is not the problem. The problem is somewhere else. And then of course it just start breaking down the whole thing and then coming to the resolution that because my intent was every single time the resistance was in my mind every single time when I was encountering a new word, a new concept. Okay, they are concept, but I was considering them as words. My mind uh, immediately get into this. Okay, I will understand that. I need to remember
Yeah.
this. I need to memorize this. And because it's not my language, I'm not going to understand this.
Yeah,
That
you
was
got
the
into
whole problem.
assumptions. You got into assumptions and expectations, which messed
The
you up.
whole program, the whole
Yeah,
affirmations, confirmations, beliefs, and ideas start connecting to this
exactly.
thing.
Exactly. So now you reveal something which is very important. You reveal the deep psychological understanding that underlies what we are doing. Yes?
Yes.
And this is a massive big deal. It's not a simple thing. It's a very sophisticated understanding of psychology, right? Look how this usage of language, the whole dictionary of power understanding, right? The philosophy that is underlying that, how it leveraged so much that was going on you on in you, right? All these expectations and assumptions and beliefs and ideas which were very limiting, right? But then when you like, oh, wow, okay, and then it all shifted, and now you are most articulate in English.
To much
Even
better.
though occasionally your grammar might, whatever little things, but see, that doesn't change your ability to be articulate, because you understand the conceptions, because you learned them afresh, right? You didn't come at them with baggage, right? Because they were new conceptions, right? So you
Yes,
could get to them purely like any child does. And this
yes,
is the magic of the child aspect of this, right? And coming to it in this language really leveraged you to be able
yes.
to do that. And you did so very, very, very well. And you let go of those things. You are very pure in that. And this was quite magical, Vina. This was most magical.
Thank you
And
so
it
much.
is something that I really do admire and appreciate you. That Sophiness of yours, that ability to come at this as a child. It is just too special, just too special.
Thank you so much. On the fun side, the English language is so profound for me. I literally truly love this language because this
Yes.
language is a metaphor for me of understanding and awareness. So how can I not love this language? So
Ah,
I do
yes.
respect this a lot. But
Yes.
also the grammar part, as you mentioned, Syl, I still
Mm.
feel that the English language needs some more work on really literally do work on the grammar side
I love it. I
because
love it.
this has had have and do does, these are like grumpy puppies, it still bite me, and you guys can see that, literally you guys
Yeah.
can see that they do bite me, and I'm
But
like
do we care? Do
so
we care? Do we
no,
care?
no,
No.
no.
Norma, do we enjoy listening to Vina? Yes, we
So,
do. Yes, we do. It is a great, beautiful joy. So
but
what do we
this
care?
is what
What
I
do we
just
care?
learned,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
okay, So I always, if you guys observe me, I try to avoid these grumpy puppies on my way, and try to find a way, sneaky way to get out of their way without using them. Like, okay, try
Oh,
to say my things without using them. This is what I was doing, because it
interesting.
still bites me, really,
Yeah,
literally.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
hope someday
yeah.
it will not be the case, but right now, this is what it is.
It is what it is. Exactly, exactly. Exactly, but it's a fun thing though, to understand this, and to really get a little deeper. Language is the gateway to awareness, right?
Yes.
It's the portal. It's a massive, profound thing. So language is not just about being a language nerd or a grammar Nazi. No, I don't care about grammar, right? But I do care about language. One second.
Yes.
And language isn't grammar. This we have to understand. Language is not grammar. Yeah, and this is where people get the mistake on that. And language and proper. Oh God, people get all connected with this. Well, but that's not the proper way to say it. You know what? Language is a democracy. Anybody can make up language. If everybody else agrees, then it becomes language, right? So there's no such thing as proper in language. It's what people agree to, right? It's consensus. And so you can't insist on anything, right? And if you just look at how much our language changes, you quickly see this. But that's not what the value of language really is. The value of language lies in conceptuality, right, Bina?
Yes.
When we All right, there we go. So when we understand that the value of language lies in our ability to formulate conception, then we say, oh, 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 I see now. I see now. Now the value and the power starts to come through. Yes.
Yes.
Now it makes all the difference in the world. Now is when it starts to become something really special and valuable. Yes.
Yes.
That's when it jumps to a new conception. And then it gets to be really awesome. Yeah.
Yes.
And then because when we can conceive, all right, we are becoming creators. Isn't this the idea of conception? You're creating something, right? But you
Yes.
are creating something with a deliberation of intent. Yes. And a clarity of intent. If you're going to conceive something, you have to be thinking about it. You have to be paying attention, right? You can't just casually go about conceiving something. Yes. I mean, that would be a bit irresponsible, would it not?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the greater our capacity to conceive, is the more enabled we are, the more empowered we are. Yes. The more potent we are. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Talking about language, I hope this is what I've been waiting for. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let me stop screen share here and see. Package. Package. Yes. You see, Bina? Are you looking at screen? Norma, are you looking at screen?
Yes. Coming. Okay. Wow.
So,
Okay.
well, there's some fun and exciting language related package. This is, I hope so. It's supposed to be, if I can get it open, it's supposed to be a language related package. Oh, we need assistance here. Dudes, I'm not from Lilliput. Don't write it so tiny. I'm a Brobdingnagian. That's the thing with Gulliver. People only remember Lilliput, right? Where he was big and the people were tiny. But where did he go next? Anybody? Anybody? I just said so. Bonus points for those who are paying attention. Where did he go next? He went to Brobdingnag.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and the Brobdingnagians were huge when he was tiny. Yeah, but somehow this is not remembered. Why not? Why is this not remembered? Because we're too much egomaniacs. That's why. Okay, it didn't come. Sorry. I am expecting to get in a translator where I can speak it into it, hold it up, and it'll say in Urdu to Bina, and Bina can talk in Urdu and Alia. So, but it didn't come, Bina. It didn't come, sadly. So, all right. Okay. Well, I hoped so. I don't know where it is. It said it was coming today. So, all right. Very good. Can we carry on? Is there anything else that's significant and noteworthy that needs to be paid attention to?
Yes, of course. I will go there, and you are not sharing screen, so it is.
Before I share screen, is there anything else noteworthy?
Yes, yes, it is. It
Oh,
is.
what?
They're
What?
tired.
Are you tired?
No, I've said that you're a tire. I'm not saying that you're church. Yes. Wow.
Isn't that fun? No,
Yes.
Matt, just for you. No fancy shirt. And look at those kind of big sleeves. Well, I'm not a great fan of them, but oh. I remembered when you started talking about language that supposedly it was supposed to be delivered today, this translator. Like a thing you can hold in your hand, right? Like your phone.
Yes.
But a dedicated translator. I think we're talking about language. I wanted to fish it out there and use it, but in the package was the shirt. So, wow. Fun.
Urdu
Fun.
to Ramzi. I don't know what it means, but okay. Urdu is my mother tongue.
Is Ramzi here?
Yes.
Brilliant. So I want to practice my American accent. So let's see. Ramsey Najar. How are you, man?
Wow. I speak Arabic, French, English, and Italian. Wow, Ramzi. Wow. Okay.
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, and I also speak nonsense. We'll add that as extra language. Arabic, French, English, and Italian. That's fantastic. Ramsey. And do you like my American accent? Ramsey Najar. I wonder, maybe how they'd say it. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. For
Urdu
me,
to Ramsey.
it's
I don't know.
no. She might be assuming that it is Urdu
Oh,
for Ramzi.
no. Ramsey doesn't speak Urdu. He speaks Arabic
Yes.
and French and English and Italian. Yeah, no, but not Urdu. Urdu is very more specific there to Venus region of the world, which is quite far away
Yes.
from Ramsey's region of the world.
Yes. It is a subcontinent
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Um,
And where Ramsey is, it's very many languages, right? There's been over the centuries lots of influence.
where
Back
is
in the
Ramzi?
in
Where is
Lebanon,
Ramzi?
in Lebanon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Ah,
Okay. Okay. Then of course.
no.
And the French, of course, and the Arabic, yes.
Well, nowadays, those languages are
Ramzi
more
asking you, how are you, bro? Ramzi asking you.
I'm good. My American accent sucks. I can't speak so slowly, Ramsey, but I'm good. No, I understand what that means, but I don't speak French. No. I was going to say, what's very interesting about that region that you're in, for a long time, Greek was the language there. Even in the time of the Romans, that area was predominated by Greek. Yes, the Latin started to come a little later, but for the longest time it was Greek, because the Greek intelligentsia, if you were, thought of yourself as a bit fancy, educated, a snob, whatever, somebody of literature especially, you not only spoke Greek, or not only knew Greek, but spoke it as well. So Greek was like the elite. It was the language of the elite for the longest time, even during Roman times, which is why the New Testament is written in Greek. You say, what has Greek got to do with that area of the world? I mean, they were speaking Aramaic and all of that at the time. It's like because of even though the Romans were in charge during the time of Jesus, they still spoke Greek mostly, or at least, in literature circles and higher education and whatever government, they spoke Greek, right? It was that language that was. So even they said, like in graves from that period, I'm trying to remember the percentage, like 30 or 40% of the graves were written in Greek. Yeah, exactly. Turks as well, all over. So yeah, Turks came a bit later than that era I'm talking about. But yeah, exactly. It all mixed together. Yeah, yeah. So
Yes,
very,
sorry to
very
interrupt, sir, but
not a problem.
I'll come back in 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. So and also the other thing with Lebanon is, if you read carefully in the Bible, Lebanon is it's basically like the Riviera of the Bible. It has this special place in the Bible of being a really beautiful place. Like if you read Proverbs, they'll mention about on the shores of Babylon and stuff, shores of Lebanon and stuff like that, and the trees. So it's really regarded as a very beautiful, special place, Lebanon. Yeah. So very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. Just a little extra history there. Yeah. Yeah, the Last Supper was in I think. Very interesting. I didn't realize that. Interesting. Oh, well, makes sense. Makes sense. And it's also a sad place in this that, there's so much unnecessary trouble there for such a beautiful place. And a lot of people don't know it. There was a time, I think it was probably in the 50s and the 60s. That's all good, Ramsey. When Lebanon was literally like a Riviera where people went on vacation, and it was a very place that they hung out and went on vacations to, like the French Riviera. So yeah, it was part of that same set. Yeah, and then Cuba used to be that way too for a while. And then of course everything changed and that all went away. No problem, Ramsey. No problem. I get to have normal all to myself again, which is wonderful. You like the shirt, Norma? Yes, tinkling and bells and streams in Bina. Yes, Norma. Yes, absolutely. I'm just reading up to catch up with your comments here. Yeah. Hello, Norma, life winner. Wow. Wow. Oh, you said hello, Ramsey, award winner. Yes, yes, yes. Hello, Ramsey. Hello, hello, hello. I just love it. I love that Ramsey says to you, a life winner. Yes, Norma. Yes, absolutely. I tried to get away from this term winning. Right, this one, the big fancy shirt. It just came. It just came today. It's actually quite warm. It's quite hot, interestingly enough. Yeah. Um, that it was the Switzerland of the Middle East. Exactly. 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 Just it's nice to know a little bit more about places. I try to pay attention to the world, and stuff like that sticks in my brain. It's very helpful. But I was saying I try to avoid this term winner. Like I sell things on eBay, and on eBay you win an auction. But does that make you a winner? Of course, this is the association that they go for. No, you're just the one who overpaid the most in the bidding. It's just manipulation. In other words, I have to be very careful. Winning is a relative term, not an absolute term. A very dangerous term. Very, very, very dangerous. But we'll get into that some other time. To continue, Biella was talking about the new noble and the name agglomeration. Biella elaborated with some added information. It turned out to be perfect and original, as these things typically do. It unfolded later with prescient brilliance, it seemed. The new noble was widely hailed as a visionary, but in actuality it had just come to him in the moment. The new agglomeration was small back then. New areas of space were subsequently discovered. New planet groupings were encountered. These had names which had been on the list, and some were most reluctant to give up their names. Some hung on to them for a long time, until new planet associations were encountered which had the same name. So far, no agglomerations have been encountered, and because of the unique name and the uniqueness of the new nobility, almost all the other groups joined the agglomeration. At least the uniqueness of the new nobility within the agglomeration. Because yes, the new nobility would likely, at least in some form, exist on planets not yet joined, if they had followed the noble ideal from the time of the dispersal. Uh, but this doesn't necessarily mean that they will call themselves the new nobility and they wouldn't have their own planet by that time, and at least not to the degree that the new nobility have on Nobelia, where it's dedicated to that, right? They'll just be a part of a planet, maybe an entire planet. It's possible, but nonetheless, they won't have this particular place in the agglomeration or in their local planets. Why? Because of the great gravity engine, right? That's unique to the new nobility, and they made sure that secret stayed. And so all the other planets, except the one where the founder and the inventors were on, they didn't have access to that. So, and the great gravity engine being in control of space travel, in other words, this changes the whole nature of everything, right? So in the agglomeration, if you want transport from one planet to another, you have to hire that transport from the New Nobility Corporation, which is, of course, run by new nobles, right? So they not only control the physical interactivity, which, of course, is commerce and everything, right? They're the bottleneck, but because they are also a spiritual, a philosophical, and an ethical influence. They have that influence as well, right? So they become a bottleneck in terms of that type of stuff too, and they have a profound influence. So the agglomeration, you cannot separate the agglomeration and the new nobility. They don't run the agglomeration. It's run by bureaucrats, and they don't appoint those bureaucrats. The people themselves of the agglomeration are in charge of themselves, but that doesn't make them not influential. They are very profoundly influential, but in a positive way, in a welcomed way, in an accepted way, in a non-forcing way. Right? They won't manipulate, in other words. So it's a very profound thing that they do and how they are. Our first task and exercises. This is all you today, Norma. So I hope you're ready there for some action. Hope we get to be told about the transport, not space itself, but surface. We do, Norma. We do in detail. Yes, we will. We will get into that, right? We already did earlier in the story already, right? But we'll get into it again. So yeah, the first task and exercise. When one thinks things through and is attuned, capital A, attuned with the greater system, the choices end up not really being choices. How does this work, Norma? Why? Why, when we think things through, by implication, think things through to the end, and is attuned with the greater system, why are our choices, why do they end up not really being choices? Keen to hear your thoughts, Norma. Keen to hear your thoughts. I'm making you work a little bit today. Okay, I'll read it again. Norma, this is for you. A question. When one thinks things through to the end by implication and is attuned with the greater system, the choices end up not really being choices. Because they are considering the all, yes. And you are connecting to the all. And when the all puts you on a path, how do you say, well, you know what, never mind all, your sensibility, I think my sensibility is more sensible than your sensibility. We can't do that, right? When we are walking with Jesus, wherever Jesus wants to go, I'm going, correct? Right, Bina? I mean, Norma. And Jesus, the universe, it's all connected. It's all the same thing, right? Jesus is a big part of the Council of the Gods story because I really like Jesus as a character. Yes, he has very nice personality. And that's why even Mercury, because Mercury too, Mercury is kind of, he's fun, he's naughty, but he's very thoughtful. Mercury, even though he gets a bad reputation, but he's very thoughtful because he's sort of in a position of limited power and he's trying to make a difference. So he has to be very crafty and strategic. Yeah. So he learns this, right, to lead by walking backwards, as it were. Now, it's a very profound thing to do. But I really like Jesus as a character, as an individual, right, as somebody in the story. And he's very nice in the story, right? He's very fun. And you'll see whenever we get into discussions and comments, you'll see his personality come through. But we can, to walk with Jesus, walk with the universe, walk with Buddha, walk with Allah, it's all the same. It's the same thing in the end, right? We just have our own flavors for this. But when we learn to think in the abstract, in the overview, we see the commonality, and that's very profound. Now we get to the next question here for you, Norma. The new nobility, and there's no right or wrong to these questions. They're designed to get us to think, to shift perspective, to discern. So the statement is here: the new nobility as a whole have few personal preferences. They tend to want whatever the situation demands, especially since they live responsibly. How exactly does this work? He's Mercurius. He is. He is indeed. He is indeed. Exactly. From himself. Yes. Yes. Me too. Me too. I very much liked Jesus as a character, as a person, as a man. Yeah. Very beautiful. No, they don't. No, Norma, no, 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 no. They don't have personal preferences, which doesn't mean they don't have preferences. Their preference is to attune and align with the universe. So whatever the universe wants, they want. And of course, the universe only wants the best for you. So whatever the universe wants is deep, deep joy, brings deep, deep joy. So they live in joy all the time. But I realize you were teasing there. Oh. Yep. They just shift to saying, I'm aware that I don't know what is best for me. Since I don't know, I have to look outside of myself as to what is best. And this is where attunement comes in, yeah? So they attune to the universe, or like I said, walk with Jesus, same thing, walk with Allah, doesn't matter, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, etc. Krishna, they all represent the universe. They're representatives of the universe, right? So at least in the story here, the gods realize that they aren't the supreme authorities. They just as much subject to the universe as anybody else. If they don't pay attention and do things, the universe comes and gives them a smack the same way it does people. You When one thinks about it, they are actually always responding. They are responding to the flow and stream of events. That's responding. That being attuned. That's where the joy you see so evident in the new nobility arises from. And this is what I was saying yesterday, Norma. When we are in a situation and we are on a path, and the energy and everything that is life and everything in general, it's all helping us, assisting us to be on that path. And we know that this path is right and good without question. How is there not joy? It's impossible not to take joy when you're attuned and when you are responding to input from the universe. How can this be anything other than joy? Yes, because you know it's right and good. Duh, it's coming from the universe. If Jesus asked you to do something, Norma, if Jesus were to ask you to do something, would it not be a joy doing whatever Jesus asked you to do? If he says, take care of those lepers over there, please, would you not take joy in doing that? No matter how unpleasant the task may be, cleaning their sores, whatever. Doesn't matter. You do it with joy, right? But that's love, Norma. That's love. This is love, and joy is the same thing here, right? I say joy rather than love because love has so much baggage to it. But joy is love. If I am thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly appreciative and immersed in the joy of my path, I love walking that path. This is what gives me the joy. See? So it is love of the universe which makes us take joy in following the dictates or the suggestions, the cues, the prompts from attuning to the universe. Because we really love the universe, or in this case, Jesus, if we want to take it more particularly, right? How do I take joy in all his conversation? He's in all of us. Or exactly, exactly, exactly. So we don't separate it out. And that's why we love everybody. Exactly. It's why we always have joy, because it's everywhere. Jesus is everywhere, or the universe is everywhere. When you love the universe, you have to love everything, because everything is the universe. So that's why the new nobility have such deep joy in their lives. Yeah. Once we're aware, whatever we do is a deliberate choice. Is this true, and does it apply in your life, and how? Yes, Norma. We're saying the same things in different ways. Yeah. Very, very powerful. Very, very, very powerful. Norma, I need you to read for me here now. I want to go make coffee and I need somebody to read. See, so you're going to have to come on Zoom and read this here. Ursula, will you read, please? Oh, but I can't hear you. No camera. Just come read. Just come read. Will you do that, Norma? Will you come read? I'm putting some pressure on you. That would be nice. It would be nice to hear you read this and to read as Ursula. That would be a great joy. That would be a great joy. You feel up to it, Norma, or no? I'll wait for you if you want to come. Once we understand that the universe is everything and that all people are parts of the universe, parts of us, we are the universe, then loving everybody, loving the universe, loving everything, loving yourself becomes quite easy. We just have to keep repeating that because our habit of a lifetime says, no, we're all separate, we're all separate, we're all separate. Yeah. Oh, I know. That's why I asked. No, it's open. It's open. I just want to hear you read. I just this would give me so much joy to hear you read the story. You know what you can do is you can read it into your voice recorder and then post it. You just share it to Messenger and then I can play it. Then I'll hear you read it. Do you know how to do that, Norman? Ah, if you don't know, it's going to be a little bit. You have to figure it out. It'll take some time. All right, no worries. I'm putting pressure on you. I'm just eager, Norma. I'm sorry. I don't want to put pressure on you. I'm just eager, just keen, just keen. Just love you, Norma, and would love to hear you, listen to you read the story. Give me great joy. Yeah, no problem. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. It's not something you really need. So Ursula smiled with awareness. It's funny how so much can depend on so little. It's funny how so much can depend on so little. Comelius was in full classic intellectual mode, representing the dominant culture of his world. The motto of the Comelius coat of arms is non sibi, which means not for himself. I always thought it was a good motto, as such mottos go. He seemed to shift to a personal recollection, as he said, slipping in between two opposing forces. The fact that there are two opposing forces is not a problem. It's what allows it all to go forward. Again, look at this depth in Comelius. Right? When you've got two opposing forces and you slip in between, that's like pressure. And if you angle yourself just right, then that pressure kind of pops you out the other side, right? It allows you to go forward. It's quite an amazing point that he's making there. Yeah. We've got to use these forces. They aren't a contradiction. They aren't a negative. We've got to use it. Leverage, in short, he stated. Biella says, the new nobility love leverage. It comes into play in all facets of their lives and awareness. Capital L leverage. It's a big, 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 big deal for the new nobility leverage. And, to understand leverage in our lives, it's so important. Without leverage, so little would happen. You need leverage for almost anything. When you open a door, you're using leverage. Try and open a door without hinges. No leverage. That's a big pain, right? No fun at all. So that leverage is what makes it easy. Yeah. It's very important to understand leverage too, how it works. I see people don't always understand that. Yeah. Very, very helpful to understand physical leverage because it applies psychologically and spiritually in many ways. Very useful concept. We can do more with less with leverage, in other words. What are you thinking about, Norma? I'm reluctant to continue until Bina comes back, so I'm keen to hear from you. What are you thinking about in the context of the story and everything that's coming? I'm listening, Norma. I'm keen to hear what you feel about the story. Any ideas that have come to you, any thoughts, any perspectives, any contemplations? I don't expect anything from you, Norma. Nothing ever, truly. Nothing, nothing. I have no expectations, no obligations. Yeah, and you can never let me down. Oh, I don't mean to make you the focus. Sorry, Norma. No, please don't worry about anything. My mushroom is back. Mushroom Ramsey. I believe we are mushrooms in this universe. We pop up and in seconds pop out. Yes, exactly. However, no matter how everything in this universe alters and changes, the universal consciousness remains dynamic but unchanged. Exactly. All dissociates from it and reassociates to it. This is the utmost leverage, I believe. Yes, exactly. Yes, yes. That's what I'm talking about. This is what we want to be in attunement to universal consciousness, right? It's always there. It's always dynamic, and it's always in our interest as well. It's always looking to assist us. This is the most incredible thing. We don't see the assistance because we cannot imagine the profoundness. But once we do, it's incredible. Incredible. Come, Ramsey, I need you to come and read. You see my voice is going a bit here now. So maybe I'll just end early. Venus not coming back. I'm struggling. My energy's running out as well. So I have to really make an effort to bring it down. So Vina would bail me out here typically. But now just suddenly just my energy's ran out. I need to take a nap. It's quite interesting. I slept really well. So who knows? Who knows how that works? I don't know. I did have a very busy morning though. But yes, this point of connecting is very important, Ramsey. This leverage that we have from connecting to universal consciousness. It's deep, deep in the story of the new nobility. Very, very, very deep. It's a very, very profound point. Did you have a good dinner, Ramsey? Oh, right. No problem. No problem. Did you have a good dinner? Always keen to know. Yeah, same here, Ramsey. Same here. That's why when I need to eat, I eat, because that allows me that once a day thing. If I kind of mess around with it, then I end up having to eat. I don't have the time for it. So I like eating. What did you eat, Ramsey? What did you eat? Please tell me you had pizza with chili sauce, chili pasta sauce, chili pizza sauce, and fast for the remaining time. Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Well, I don't know if I fast deliberately, but I do so unintentionally. Yes. Sometimes I'll have a little snack later on. Oh, you had barbecue. Did you have Ramsey sauce with the barbecue? Oh, at your aunt's house. All right. Well, your aunt's got to get with the program, and she's got to keep Ramsey sauce in stock. What's your sauce called, Ramsey? I just love this whole that you do in the sauce and everything. It's fantastic. It really makes me very happy, Ramsey. Simple things, simple things. It's always there. Yeah, okay, good. What's it called? What's it called? What's the name of the sauce? Ramsey's rambunctious taste reticulator. I know. I'm just thinking of names with R's in it. Sweet chili. Yeah. Great Munch brand. That's a fantastic Great Munch. That's a fantastic brand name. Great Munch. Brilliant. Brilliant. Great Munch. Very most excellent. That's what we're doing when we do capital R readings. We are doing great munches into the story, and we munch on it. We munch on it to get everything out of it. Yes. Great munch. That's fantastic. But you got to capitalize that munch, I'm assuming, right? And the B for Great Munch brand. Very cool name. Very cool name, Ramsey. Is that the name in the other languages too? Or is it called Great Munch brand in English? Or does it have an Arabic version, a French, Italian, whatever version? Yeah, I imagine I can, but I like to hear it from you, Ramsey. I would like to get it straight from the authority. Yeah, so it doesn't get watered down. I like to see things directly. Oh, all English. Yeah, English today is the language of the world, so it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Great Munch is a Yamadori SAL brand. Yamadori SAL is a young and dynamic company that was established in 2019. Is this you, Ramsey? Is this you? Is that you, Yamadori SAL? Oh, so let's look up Ramsey in Wiki Alpha. And see, I'm going to give Ramsey a plug here. I'm very happy to give you a plug. Isn't this exciting, Norma? See, Great Munch. There's the brand, the logo, Great Munch, food and beverage. Yamadori SAL. See, it goes with Ramsey in a jar. Yamadori SAL. It's too fantastic. Headquarters in Lebanon. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. If you're a fan of spicy food, spicy pastes, tips, and organic eggs, you know that not all chili, hot sauces, condiments, products, and eggs are created equal. That's why it's important to choose a brand that offers premium ingredients and authentic flavors. Great Munch is one of the brands that is growing in popularity among chili, dip, hot sauce lovers, and egg enthusiasts. What sets the products apart from other brands is that their founder is a fantastic person, and their commitment to using only the freshest ingredients and special recipes. Our sauces are made with carefully selected tomatoes, herbs, and spices, carefully blended to create a unique flavor profile. There you go. Wonderful, wonderful. If you need a spokesperson for your ads, you know where to apply.
Hello.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Look what I'm looking at, Bina. Look what I'm looking at.
What is this now?
This is Great
Hmm.
Munch.
Oh,
Great
great.
Munch is a Yamadori SAL brand. Yamadori SAL, right, is a young and dynamic company that was established in 2019 by a brilliant, fantastic founder and creator. Despite being relatively new, oh yes, despite being relatively new, the company has already made a name for itself in the industry. The founders of Yamadori SAL have extensive experience in their respective fields.
Oh, is
This
it
is the
Ramsey's company?
It is. It is. It is.
Wow, that's really good.
My ad-libbing might have given the game away.
Yes, yes. Oh,
I'm
that's really
giving Ramsey
wonderful.
a plug. I'm giving Ramsey a plug here, a little bit
Oh,
of an advert for
wish you
Ramsey.
all the luck, Ramsey.
Yeah.
Wish you all the luck.
But isn't this the great name as a brand? Yeah, Yamadori is the company name and the brand name is Great Munch. Great Munch. What a fantastic name. Great Munch.
I like that too. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. All right, no problem, Norma. No problem. Well, we'll see you later. Always, there's never a sorry. It's just we go and we come. This is the freedom of our interaction. Look at Bina. She goes and she comes back. It's too brilliant. It's too
Yeah,
brilliant.
because tomorrow is Eid day for
There you go. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. It's too fantastic. It's too fantastic. Yeah. So all too wonderful, all too wonderful, and we have fun. We have fun too. And for me to celebrate something that somebody's doing. in our community?
Yes.
How do I not celebrate? Yes, it's not necessarily connected to the story and all that. But Bina left, I ran out of energy and it came up. So we have a bit of a digression. So what? So what?
Yes.
But
Yes.
the joy
By
though,
the way,
it's part of
uh,
Nobelia-Living. Sorry, Bina, hold your thought. I want to say
yes.
me paying attention to Ramsey is part of Nobelia-Living. When your friends, those you care about, have something, you are automatically interested. You want to help them. You want to promote it. You want to do whatever you can. See, so it's part of Nobelia-Living what I'm doing. I can't help it. It's like just built in there. If I care about Ramsey, I care about his business and his product, and I want to help and promote it and put it out there. Yeah, it's part of
Yes.
Nobelia-Living. Yeah, go ahead,
Yes.
Vina, please.
Yes. By the way, I was just saying that, okay. One of my friend, Alan Harvey, one of
Yes.
his Facebook friend, and of course, on in real life friend also, name is Ramzi Najjar.
Oh, wow.
And I
Wow.
was thinking that I have seen or heard this name before, but I was like, oh, where? I was not getting it. But then when you mentioned that Lebanon, that you
Hmm.
are from that,
Hmm. Hmm.
Alan
Hmm.
was a music teacher in Beirut.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's in early 60s or late 60s. I guess late
Yeah.
60s.
Yeah.
He was there. Uh, and then they have a very, very great bond with people there in Beirut at the time. And his
Yeah.
students, they
Yeah.
still love him. And one of his friend name is Rabzi Najjar. That's
Interesting.
why his name is familiar with.
But it's not this Ramsey Najjar. We did look it up once. Remember, Bina? We checked it out.
Yes.
We checked it out.
Ah,
We we,
you
we
did? You did?
yes, we
Oh,
did.
okay,
We
okay,
did.
okay.
When Ramsey first came on, you told me the same story, and I said, "Is it the same
Oh,
Ramsey?" And
oh,
we
oh,
looked at the
I'm
profile
completely
picture,
forgetting
and we
about it.
said,
I completely forgot
"No,
about this.
no, it's a different profile. It's an older Ramsey. It's a different Ramsey." So,
Oh, okay. Yes, yes,
Ramsey,
yes.
do you
Yes.
have relatives that are called Ramsey Najjar? Do you know of other Ramsey Najjars?
But that Ramsey is not award winning. So okay.
Correct, correct. It's not the same. It's not the same, and he's not a sweet chili loving Ramsey.
Oh yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So from now on, it's never mind Ramsey Najjar, award-winning author. It is Ramsey Sweet Chili Najjar.
Oh, but Ramsey says that yes, I know him. And they used to
Wow,
have a restaurant somewhere.
wow,
And
wow.
he is a far relative. Wow.
Oh, fantastic.
If it is
Oh,
if it is all
fantastic.
not just pulling our leg, but okay.
Fantastic. So will you type for me there, please, Bina? Ramsey,
Yes.
and then open inverted commas, capital S, sweet,
Okay.
capital C, chili, close inverted commas, Najjar.
Ramsey. Say it again.
Open inverted commas, capital
Yes.
S, sweet, capital C,
Sweet
chili, close inverted commas,
chili. Okay.
and close inverted commas, right? And
Yes.
then Najjar, then Najjar.
Okay.
So it's Ramsey, sweet chili, Najjar.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that. I like that as a name for Ramsey. Ramsey, sweet chili, Najjar. Because I think Ramsey is kind of sweet chili, isn't he? I mean,
Ramsey, great munch in a jar.
Oh, that works too. That works too. That works too. No, but you got to put it not in brackets, Ramsey. You got to put it in the inverted commas. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there. You see the way Bina has it. You see, because that's how you write nicknames, right? If you look up,
Ramsey sweet jar.
Frankie,
Ramsey Yamaduri. Okay, yeah. Oh, it's a cool name.
yeah,
Yamaduri.
Yamaduri or Yamadori. I said
Oh,
Yamadori, but you say
Yamaduri.
Yamaduri.
Okay.
Which
Uh,
way? Which way, Ramsey? Which way?
okay.
Yamaduri or Dori?
Okay.
Could be
Let me
Yamad
do this.
Ori. I love this. Ramsey Great Munch Najar or Ramsey Sweet Chili. But I think sweet chili is very appropriate for Namsi, for Namsi Raja.
Oh,
somehow. Yes.
Yamadori in Japanese. So Yamadori.
Yeah, so Yamadori then. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. It's very interesting that the company name is Japanese, very international. But see, look at this nickname for Ramsey. Ramsey is very sweet, yes? This
Hmm.
is unquestionable. A very sweet person.
Like Norma,
But yeah,
she
exactly. But
is.
also very spicy. Yes. As in there's aliveness to Ramsey. Spiciness isn't like being contentious or anything. No, it's just having energy, having thoughtfulness, having punch, and having moreness, right? So spicy, very important. Yamadori in Japanese, it's sitting in the back of my mind somewhere what it means. Please tell me what it means. I'm not pulling it up right now. It will come, but I don't want to wait for it to come. What's Yamadori in Japanese? I
Collecting
think
plants in the mountains of the world.
yeah, okay. It's a way of, it's like a style of a doing, something of a doing. I got you
Okay.
now. Oh, wonderful. And Yamadori is it's not just, like you say, collecting plants. There's a moreness to it, right, Ramsey? It's like a spiritual activity, Yamadori. Yes?
Oh, it is related to bonsai trees. Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. Bina has a very profound article on bonsai, which kind of turns it on its head a little bit, but all right. But it's about care. It's about care. It's about particular care. Yes, right,
Yes,
Ramsey? It's about collecting your plants in a particular way, with care,
yes,
with attention, right? Making sure it's done in the best possible way to ensure the freshness and the health and the vigor and everything. Yes, Ramsey?
yes. We all
Uh,
three have very, very not peculiar, but very interesting surname. Like my name, of course, Ramzi can easily, but even much better than me, he can pronounce Siddiqui. And Syl's surname is Krief, which we
ah,
both can pronounce very
Grief,
well.
yeah, Grief,
Yes, yes, Krief.
Grief. And the E's are
Yes,
different. Yeah, it's if,
okay,
Grief.
Krief,
Dreadful
Krief.
name.
Okay. So and your name Najjar. So it
Yeah,
is it's all good.
yeah.
I
Basically,
guess
by the way,
I
Bina,
heard someone pronouncing it Najjar, not Najjar. It was
yeah,
Najjar.
Najar. Yeah, that's how I imagine it to be, Najar.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
Najar.
I think that, yeah, it is
Yeah,
Najjar. I don't know.
exactly.
It is just a memory. It's not like not understanding.
Right, right,
So
right, right.
this is
Right. Yes, Ramsey says what I understood when he mentioned about that, it all came back to me. Yamadori, because Dori is way of. So it's way of collecting plants, right? It's taking care of nature, taking nothing for granted, and doing things and having that deep respect for nature. That's what Yamadori is all about, having this deep communal respect for it. It's essentially when you go and collect your herbs, you have to do so in attunement. Yeah, different times of the
yes.
day. If there's dew on the plants, maybe it'll make them wither sooner or whatever, right? It's all about respect. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. There are words in Urdu similar to Arabic, correct? Because they borrowed from Arabic. Urdu is a very um, uh, amalgamated. It's an agglomerative language.
Yes, it is because
Yeah.
Urdu is a combination of Sanskrit, Arabic, English, and Farsi and Turkish language also. I think that this word Urdu is from Turkish, and which means that
Ah,
the group
interesting.
or something like that. So
Ah, interesting.
so Urdu is, yes, it's a
Yeah,
Turkish word. I guess if I'm not wrong, Urdu is
yeah.
a Turkish word.
It
So
sounds kind of like it could be.
this language actually has been Ramzi designed when people were coming to India, uh, the whole India at that time, not parted, and the troops were coming, of course, the armies and the Mughals, and of course everyone else, and it was hard to communicate with each other.
Mm,
So somehow
mm.
this language becomes the thing that, okay, they were using few words from here, they're using for this language, and now Urdu has its own dialect and own grammar
Yeah,
and everything.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So in South Africa, on the mines, and because the mines in South Africa are such huge employment centers. You can have
Yes.
one mine, just one mine that can have 100,000 people living on site.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, living on site in the mine housing. Yes, it's unbelievable, right? 100,000, right? This is something that's truly, and that's never mind people that are living in their own housing. That's just living in the housing provided by the mines. So and they would come, or they still come from as far away as Tanzania, right? So all the way from central, even Africa, like Tanzania, right? That's right in the heart of Central Africa. They would migrate down, it'd be migrant labor, come to work in the mines, because the money is fantastic, right? Because, well, it's international companies, so they got pressure to pay good wages, but also it's danger pay. You're going sometimes miles, literally a mile or more underground. You wear these special suits to keep you cool, and there's very good pay, right? So it's a
Mm.
very sought after things. But because you've got people coming from literally all over the subcontinent, from all the way down from the equator, basically from Congo downward, like Tanzania goes even a little bit higher than Congo. All right. So from the bottom half of Africa. So half of Africa, literally, people are coming to work in the mines. And of course, you got languages like crazy. And so the mine version, or the South African version of Urdu is called Fanigalo, which is this amalgamation language of all languages. There is another language, Swahili, which is spoken quite far and broad across many countries in Africa. So that's sort of one language that does have a bit more legs. But of course, with the colonials, you got English and French, but it's mostly
Mm.
English now. So
Uh,
anyway, just a little bit of
John, can you
interesting
speak? John Cooper, can you speak
Swahili.
Swahili? Yeah.
Yeah, if he spent time in Africa, and I know he spent time in Tanzania, you can't really get by if you don't learn to speak Swahili. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm, mm, mm.
Oh,
Read what Ramsey says there, please.
yes. So let me see. Okay, go a bit. Oh, it always is small like crazy. The Indians came here at the, I don't know, Phoenician
Phoenician, yeah.
and Roman times to build Baalbek,
Wow.
a big temple in Lebanon. There is on top of the temple ruins a lotus engraved that only Indians use in their temples. Yes. Uh, at, at least in ancient temples, at that time, only
Very
Indians
interesting.
were using. Now, of course, you can see that in recent history, you can see in
Yeah,
temples, the lotus thing. But in
very
Indians,
interesting.
literally, truly ancient temples, they all have this lotus thing. Lotus
Yeah,
is a big
yeah,
deal
yeah, yeah.
in Hinduism. So yes, and of course,
Yeah,
craftsmen were a big deal. India was hub,
yeah,
literally a hub of
yeah,
craftsmen.
yeah, yeah,
My
exactly. And
mother's family migrated from Iran and they came to India just because that they were craftsmen. So and they were settled in India in the Mughal era, the last Mughal, the
wow,
famous Mughal emperor at that
wow.
time. So my mother's side, forefathers migrated to India at that time, and they were
That he was
craftsmen.
the last. He was the Taj Mahal builder, right? The one you're talking about.
No, okay. The last Mughal was Bahadur Shah Zafar. It's a
Oh,
very
oh,
tragic story of that emperor because he was very old and he lost all his power, and it's still his family, immediate family, like granddaughter and grandsons. They are doing labor in India, literally
oh, wow.
in
Oh,
deep
much more
labor.
recent then. Oh, I see. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
So the
Yeah.
last one was Bahadur Shah Zafar, but the most famous one, few of them were Akbar and Humayun and Jahangir. So they are the most famous one, and they were very powerful also. But there is one really interesting book I want to read with you if I could find that in English, which is about Temur. And Temur Lung, actually, he had a limp in his leg, so that's why it was Lung is limb. So yeah. What?
Lung in Afrikaans means long.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you'd
Uh,
call a tall, willowy fellow, you call him a lang lat. A lat is like when you take from
stretched one?
no, a lat is like a switch, but a longer one, right?
Oh, okay.
Lat.
Okay. Anyway, so it's almost time. I missed
Yeah, yeah,
something very
we'll
interesting.
go. Yeah, it
Again,
was fun. It was
Ramsey,
fun
wish you all
chatting
the
with Ramsey.
best of luck with your business and with your
Yes,
company.
yes. So,
It's a great
oh,
name.
but furthermore, Ramsey, now that we've gotten all involved with this and we're putting out the public broadcast and everything for you here, you have to keep us updated with how things are going, right?
Oh yes,
So you said you were
and we love.
marketing to the supermarkets. So are they buying it? Is it stocked in the shelves there in the local supermarkets?
Yes,
I
yes,
hope so. You have to keep us up to date, Ramsey. That's I
yes.
want progress
Like
reports, please.
Norma
Right.
needs to update us about her spring cleaning, like where she is
Exactly.
actually
And
giving
also what's
away.
going on with Big C and what's going on with Petal and with her daughters and
Yes,
everything. So we need
yes.
details. We need details. It's very important.
Details. We
We
love
need
to. We love
details.
to hear that.
We want in Ramsey's case, we want progress reports.
Yes.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
positive ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
So consider us now members of your board of directors.
We're just going to keep asking you, what happened?
That's it.
What
That's
happened?
right. I'm on your board of directors now, whether you like it or not. So is Bina. We self-appointed board members, Ramsey.
Self-appointed, which are just
Self-appointed.
going to keep asking you the same thing.
Mm.
Yeah, the
What's
same
going
thing.
on? What's going on?
What's
What's
going
going
on?
on? What's going on? We are interested, Ramsey. We are
Yes.
interested.
All
This
good.
is how it goes for me. How can you not be interested about things that
Oh yes.
people that you care about do? There we go. I will report everything to you. Very good. Very good. Very good. I love it. I love it. I love to learn too, and it's exciting. And it's an
Oh yes. It
adventure
is.
that Ramsey's on. Man, I'm gonna live vicariously through you, Ramsey. It's fantastic. It's just too
We
brilliant.
share all these details with each other, and of course,
Exactly.
with Cher and with Norma also. And you know that, okay, how open, at least
Exactly.
this is again. It's like it seems like that. Okay, I'm just projecting it, but actually, this is the one of the perks of doing this, having being a participant of Way of Impeccability, that your life becomes so easy that you can share anything with everyone. Yes, especially with friends.
And
No
there's nothing to
hesitation,
hide.
no
There's nothing to hide.
filtration.
It's the benefit of impeccability. That you can be open and share everything. How can you not?
So what?
It's incredible. It's
I can
incredible.
talk about that. Okay, English does have some grumpy puppies which still bite me. English grammar.
Exactly.
I can
Exactly.
and okay, I can share my secrets, that how I try to avoid those things, and still share my things.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
nonsense and
Yeah.
inappropriate,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
and all the
So
joy also. Why not?
so Ramsey brings in a term which, if it's not in your dictionary of power, I recommend you add.
Okay,
Yeah.
from
Fall
less than
forward.
to things get destroyed. So you need to
Yeah.
fall for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 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 So look, Ramsey, are you paying attention, Ramsey? Are you looking? Where's my Did it open
Fall forward.
where's my dictionary of power? Where's my
Interesting.
dictionary? It
Interesting.
didn't open it. It didn't
Okay.
open it. Oh.
Yes.
This
Yes.
this
Okay. So,
concept of falling forward is a very big deal. It's a very, very, very big deal. Yeah.
yes.
Because and some even use this term as fail forward. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Okay. While you are
There's
doing
my
this,
dictionary of
I'm
power.
going to say bye for now, because we
Okay.
are almost on time, and I have to go and do and take care of other things.
Okay.
So my
Okay. But
side, even if people are vegetarian, still I would say that, okay, because I'm feeling happy. Tomorrow is my eat day, and so happy eat to all my friends. Uh, Beside all
wonderful.
those things which you have, you don't
Wonderful.
need to consider all those things, and just be happy and cheerful.
Yes.
So thank you, Norma, for being here, and
Yes.
of course, thank you, Ramzi, and thank you so much, Sil,
Yeah,
for
pleasure,
sharing all
been a
these things.
pleasure.
And
I'm gonna end it.
we'll
I'm gonna end it also now. Yes. So I'll see you a
yes,
little
okay.
later,
So we'll
hopefully, and
see
maybe
you.
we can do some more
Yes,
listings. Yeah.
yes, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you,
Okay.
Ramzi. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye, Ramsey. It's so cool. So cool hearing all this. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Oh, I'm trying to end this. There we go. Okay, end everything, end everything. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye, bye. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow.